Is this for emotional support? Is this to make sure that they're being treated fairly?
All of that. It is absolutely all of that. It is emotional support. It's mental support. It is a witness. It's a form of documentation. While we're on the phone, we're probably recording because, quite frankly, the medical system is like the last, it's the last battle in racial bias, disease bias, discrimination. And as a Black woman, 46 years old, fifth generation sickle cell patient, who has gone to the same hospital for over 3 decades, I can tell you that every time I go to the ER, every time, it is a battle. It is a battle. And see, because you're the doctor, you don't really get to see the journey. You got a whole army of people that supposedly are there to help your job be easier. But respectfully, most of them do not. From the time we get to the ER and we sign in, it's an attitude. Okay, just go sit down. It is unwelcoming. It is cold. It is, quite frankly, just cruel. Total and complete lack of empathy. Total and complete lack of compassion. Total and complete lack of interest as to why this human being got out of their bed in the middle of the night, put on some clothes, drove Lord knows how long to go to a hospital. Like, that's not fun. We truly have more important things to do. Then, as we're treated with indifference and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm not getting into, we're told to go sit. And while we're sitting, we are watching other people who are not us come in. And we're watching the whole attitude of the room change. Again, I'm speaking as a Black woman with sickle cell. Don't come at me about how you've been there and they were great to you. We're not doing that today. You watch, and you watch other people come in, and the tone is different, the facial expressions are different, the questions that they ask are even different. And when I say different, I'm talking about basic questions that they're supposed to ask. What brought you here today? How long have you been in crisis? When did your medication stop working? These are all questions and information that we tend to just volunteer because we've been trained to do so from birth. And yet we are cut off at every single moment. We have a chart. Go sit down. Oh, okay. Then we have to go through triage. When we're in triage, the low vibrational, trifling, discriminatory, disgraceful attitudes tend to continue. Well, what do you take at home? I have an ER opioid. I have an IR opioid. None of them are working. I have been trying to handle this at home, probably days at this point. Well, you're not going to get anything better, so I don't even know why you're here. Excuse me, are you the doctor? Oh, but you're not. And then, as you're talking as a patient, doing your job, It is my job. Let's be clear on what my job is. It is my job to, one, get myself to the ER and in enough time to give you the time, space, and opportunity to actually help me. It is my job to know my medical history. It is my job to know my medications. It is my job to be able to tell you when was the last time that I took said medications. And it is also my job to educate you on why said medications are no longer working. And generally that is because it is no longer safe for me to be at home under this amount of pain and distress. That's my job. And yet when I do my job, I'm looked down upon. I'm talked horribly to. I have rolled eyes and sidebar commentary as if I'm not there, and yet they're talking about me. And then I'm forced to wait hours on hours when I am suffering from the world's largest hereditary illness, with the hallmark of said illness is excruciating pain from your body breaking down its own red blood cells and releasing poison, i.e. heme, into the bloodstream. And yet, I am nowhere on that list of priority of under 2, over 70, bleeding, broken, brain damage, birth, heart problems. Oh, it's just pain. Go sit down. Then we got to get to the back, with the nurse. And if we're lucky, the nurse that has taken us to the back, they have some form of compassion, some form of empathy. They recognize that we know how this works. And if we're lucky, that nurse is our bridge with you, doctor. Unfortunately, in this political climate, that is now a very low probability that we will get a nurse that will be kind, that will be empathetic. So by the time you get there, sir, yeah, it's a whole situation that you didn't even know was going on. A whole situation. We are frustrated, we are tired, we are in pain, we are mentally and emotionally exhausted. And a lot of times the person on the other end of that phone is the only thing that is keeping us going. Now, I'm in no way excusing how that phone call is being presented to you, because manners are still manners. And when you walk in, I should introduce myself, and I should introduce the person on the phone, and I should tell you who that person is. This is my advocate. This is my mother. This is my husband. So if that leads to your frustration as a provider, that someone is on the phone, that other someone is speaking, and you feel that you're not giving the respect and in the time and attention that you need in order to help said patient, you are absolutely in the right, and that should not happen. But as a patient, we have the right to have anybody that we want in that room, any way that they can be in that room. And if they can't stand next to us, the next best thing is this little device right here. I do hope that that answered some questions for you. And if you have any other questions, I am more than happy to help you out. But bottom line, as a Black person in America, going into a hospital is one of the scariest things that you can deal with, especially when you're alone. Thank you.